Today, we're exploring something truly remarkable, the mind-machine frontier, and we'll be looking at it through an Islamic framework for what are called brain-computer interfaces.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Nuran Academy. Today we're diving deep into the topic of brain-computer interfaces. If you find this exploration beneficial, please do support our work by subscribing and sharing it as a sadaqah. So, to get started, I want you to just think about a few questions with me. Questions that might sound like they're straight out of science fiction. First off, what if our very thoughts could just be transmitted? And what if the human mind could communicate directly with machines? I mean, no words, no movement, not even a sound, just direct connection. All of this, well, it leads us to a question that really no civilization has ever had to face in quite this way. Where does our technology end, and where does the human being truly begin? To even begin to answer that, we've got to get a handle on the technology itself. So let's explore this mind-machine frontier together. It all starts right here, inside our own heads. The human brain, yours and mine, has nearly 86 billion neurons. Think about that number. Each one is part of this vast, intricate network, and they're all communicating using tiny electrical signals. And it's this biological electricity that's the foundation of our thoughts, our memories, everything. Okay, so that's where this technology steps in. A brain-computer interface, or BCI for short, is basically a system that allows a machine to read those very electrical signals. It's like a translator, taking our thoughts and turning them into direct actions, either in the digital world or even the physical world. And look, this isn't some far-off future stuff. This is happening right now, today. We're seeing brain-computer interfaces help paralyzed patients move robotic arms just by thinking about it. They're helping some people who are blind regain a form of vision. They're even being used to treat incredibly difficult neurological disorders like severe depression. Right now, the main goal is about restoring human ability. So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. For the first time in all of human history, the mind is no longer completely isolated inside the skull. In a very real way, it's becoming networked. But how do we, as Muslims, even begin to think about such a huge shift? Well, we turn to our tradition, and it offers us a beautiful and sacred distinction between the intellect and the soul. You see, our tradition makes this incredibly important distinction. On one hand, you have al-aql, which is the intellect. This is the part that processes information. It operates through the physical brain, those electrical signals that neuroscience can study and that BCIs can, well, interface with. But then you have al-ruh, the soul. The soul transcends biology completely. It's the domain of the divine. It's our essence that connects us to our Creator, and it can never, ever be accessed by a machine. And this isn't just philosophy. It's rooted right in the Quran itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah As-Sajda, and He breathed into him from His Spirit. The soul is a divine gift, a breath from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No chip, no algorithm, no machine can ever touch it. And this right here, this perfectly illustrates the Islamic position. We don't fear neuroscience. We don't fear knowledge. Actually, it's the opposite. Our faith demands that we approach it with a deep, profound humility, always recognizing the limits of our own creation in the face of the Creator's power. And you know, this way of thinking isn't new. It's actually part of a long, rich legacy of scholarly inquiry within our tradition, a tradition that has always been about balance. For literally centuries, Muslim scholars were pioneers in studying the mind, perception, consciousness. Thinkers like Ibn Sina wrote incredible works on the soul, on psychology, on the link between our physical and mental health. But for them, it was never just a cold scientific exercise. For them, to understand the human being was a way to better understand Allah's creation. They always balanced what they could observe with revelation, never ever reducing a person to just their biology. And that legacy brings us right to the heart of our discussion today, the really urgent part, the ethics of it all, framed by the concept of amana, viewing the mind as a divine trust. The Islamic concept of amana teaches us that our abilities, our minds, our bodies, they aren't really our property to own. They are a sacred trust and amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are responsible for protecting them. This means we have to use this trust for good, and we have to actively shield it from harm. It connects to the legal principle of blocking lawful things that could lead to unlawful results. If a technology has the potential for great harm, we have an obligation to build safeguards. So this technology forces us to ask some really tough questions about that amana. For instance, who owns your thoughts if they can be read, decoded, and stored by massive corporations or governments? Does allowing that kind of access become a violation of this sacred trust?
And then there's this. What happens to society when this tech moves beyond just restoring function and into enhancement? What happens if it creates a new, privileged class of humans with abilities that others simply don't have? This isn't just about fairness. It's about preserving the natural human state, the fitra that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us upon. These are the ethical frontiers we have to navigate, with our principles as our map.
So where does that leave us? Well, it brings us to the path forward. And really, it's a call for Muslim guardians to step into this arena with a clear purpose.
The Ummah right now is in desperate need of experts who are guided by faith. We need neuroscientists who have strong iman. We need AI researchers who are deeply grounded in Islamic ethics. We need scholars who can build that bridge between modern technology and divine revelation. And we need thinkers who will always be champions for protecting human dignity. We have to remember that our faith is not a barrier holding us back from innovation. It's the exact opposite. It is our moral compass for navigating this uncharted territory. Think about it. Our intellectual ancestors, they literally shaped the world with their knowledge, all while being guided by their faith. The question now, it falls to us. If they changed the world then, what will you build now? Presented and created by Noron Studio.